All right, I am not live this week. If you're watching, this is not a clip out. This is the clip. The Blathering live might come Saturday. It might not. It's kind of crazy out here in LA right now. I had a busy week anyways, but some really bad fires going on out there, and I want to acknowledge the seriousness of that. We won't. We're having some fun distractions right now, but thoughts, love, everything going out to those affected by the fires. And I got people in my circle, real close circle, currently affected. Some have lost houses, friends of friends, to be clear. And we're all battling some things. So I wasn't live this week, but what's really important in times of trouble is to find those distractions to keep you going. And betting on NFL picks is kind of what's keeping me going right now. So we were going to do this. We got the NFL playoffs coming. We're going to look back. We're going to look ahead. Producer Steve is here. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, Ken, how's it going? Thank you again, as always, for having me. Glad to be here for picks and a moment of reprieve. Hope everyone out there is doing okay.
We're hanging in there. Even at the time of this recording, the winds have started to die down, which is key to us in the LA County area. So, all right, let's look back on the season. What do you have for me? Where do you want to go? It was not a good weekend.
It wasn't a good week, but let's start on the positive, big picture, right?
Okay.
So this was, 17, 18-week season. I think we had almost every week. And five games a week. You pick the Dolphins every week. I did not give you the best spreads towards the end there because things get wonky. People rest. You were 45, 39, and 1 on the season. So you were positive on the year, making money.
Okay. Look. I was aiming for the Swami, Chris Berman. I maybe fell a little short, but I'm going to take that. It's enough for me to brag at parties to Mark Ellis and Josh McCouga.
Absolutely. We will very quickly brush under the rug that your last week of the regular season was 0-5, but that's coming after a 5-0 week, so the universe has to balance out a little bit before we go into the playoffs.
Yeah, and look, let's say last week's picks were all about me trying to manifest the Miami Dolphins into the playoffs. Didn't happen on multiple levels. No.
Got punished for it, but that's okay. The playoffs are here. You have 6 picks this week. The playoffs give us an extra game, so even extra redemption, but we'll see how you do for the playoffs. We'll preserve that regular season record, and then at the end here, we'll talk about the Super Bowl real quick.
Ooh, looking ahead to the big game. The big game. All right, you take me through it. Where are we going here with these NFL picks wildcard weekend?
All right, here we go. Wildcard weekend starts. Game number 1 is the LA Chargers at the Houston Texans. The Texans are a 2.5-point dog at home.
Interesting at home. Look, I think a lot of people are believing Harbaugh. I times believe in Harbaugh. I kind of believed in him as an Indianapolis Colt quarterback, almost beating, I think it was the Steelers in the championship game about 20 years ago. I like this positioning here for San Diego, but I got to tell you something. I'm going bold right now. Houston is an interesting, fun place to play. If you're a visiting team, the Dolphins learned that firsthand. It can get loud. I like what's going on in Houston. I am taking Houston, and it's going to be by more than 3, so no cover worries here for the Chargers. That's my first pick, Texans over Chargers.
All right, taking the Texans over the Chargers in game number 1. All right, here we go. Game number 2 is a familiar one. Pittsburgh at the Ravens. The Ravens are a 9.5-point favorite.
Ooh, okay. All right. Look, I really wanted Pittsburgh to knock out Cincinnati before the Dolphins even took the field. It didn't happen, but didn't work out for the Bengals or the Dolphins. We had a little situation going on in Denver with the practice squad taking the field. But there was some conversation around my circles this week, and I'll shout out again, comedian extraordinaire and football expert Mark Ellis, who said, look, man, if I were the Steelers, I'd rather go to Baltimore because you know how to play that team. You know what to do. And that got me thinking, man, that is a really good insight. The Steelers do know what to do. It's a shame, though. They're still going to lose. Taking the Ravens. Sorry, Josh McCouga. Sorry, Yinzers. Steve, it's not going to be good in Steeltown this year.
Ravens and the big points. Lamar Jackson needs to win to get that monkey off his back. So we will see. All right, here we go. Game number 3. Denver is at Buffalo. Buffalo is an 8.5-point favorite at home.
I got no ill will against Denver. I know this is the first year back in the playoffs in, 8 years. I like watching that Bo Nix kid. I really do. I just was a little upset of the situation, and I get what happened on the Kansas City. Well, you'd want to nothing on the rest all those players. Nothing's on the line. I'd do the same thing if Miami was in that position. They're not going to be in that position for a while, it seems. So I can't hold it against the Broncos. But at the end of the day, Buffalo is, to me, it's definitely a top 2 Super Bowl contender in the AFC. I still think Kansas City's got the experience that puts them over the edge. Allen can make at least one mistake a game, maybe. That would cost you. But this is just the stepping stone to the next round for the Buffalo Bills. We're taking the Bills big over the Broncos.
Taking the Bills over the Broncos. All right, here we go. Game number 4. Green Bay is at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a 4.5-point favorite at home.
Yeah, do we have injury concerns for Packers? There wasn't one injury last week? I should have looked.
Christian Watson, wide receiver for the Packers, tore his ACL.
That's right. All right. Yeah. Look, you can find someone to throw the ball to. I'm not saying it's easy, kids. Should we trade you Tyreek right now, Packers? I'll go for it. Can that be legal? Let's do it. Get him over there. Man, at home at Philly. Look, Barkley is next level. He's playing one of those seasons where it just seems like fate for him to move on. Packers going to make it close, but not close enough. Philly at home. I'll take them.
Taking Philly. Go Birds. All right, game number 5 is Washington at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a 3-point favorite at home.
What do you do, Steve? I'll pitch this to you real quick. What do you do when you have 2 of your best, most favoritist friends who are rooting for a team on each side of the playoff battle? Washington, Tampa, that's Mark Ellis, as I mentioned, my pal Mark Ellis, and Cody Hall of the Amateur Hour Films presents The Wangers. Tampa Bay fan. I want to support both of them. What do you do?
Okay, first question. Do either of them owe you money?
I owe Mark Ellis too much money. So no.
So you may want to favor Mark there then. That would be my first instinct.
Okay.
And then the second one would be, who do you talk football with more? Because if you talk a lot of shit with Mark, then obviously you're going to want him to lose, so you can kind of rub that in his face. But being a Dolphins fan, he's a Washington fan. It's not like there's any like bad blood there really or anything like of modern times.
He'll bring up Riggins 4th and 1 a little bit too much for my take and taste, I should say. But we don't talk a lot of shit. I think it's because we both for me, it's been 25 years since the last Miami playoff win. We're on the same level. You're right. And look, I still fault Tampa Bay for bringing in Tom Brady. You're right. Washington. We're taking Washington.
All right. Taking Washington on the road in Tampa Bay. Game number 6, our last game of Wild Card Weekend is Minnesota is at the Rams, LA Rams, of course. Rams are a 1.5-point dog at home, and as of this recording, there's talk that this game may get moved to Arizona.
Right, yeah. SoFi, more in the, I think the way of the smoke versus anything else right now, but it is crazy out here. So that could change some things, but let's just go with this being played at SoFi. It's interesting, the Vikings on the road. What were they? Were they 14-3? 14-3.
Yes, 14-3. Yeah,
14-3. It's why it's not fair. You're 14-3, and you got to go on the road wild card weekend against the Rams. But I'll tell you what, I just love what's going on in Minnesota. Sometimes, Steve, you got to go not with the stats. You got to go with your heart. I think a lot of people are going to have heart behind LA because of what's going on in LA this weekend. So I don't want to be a party pooper because I live here in this city. It would mean a lot to win, but I got to go. Facts, feelings, you know how that goes. Some people misuse that and are pretty aggressive with that in a wrong political term, but I'm going to use it here for football. Minnesota on the road, taking them.
All right, taking Minnesota.
All right, looking at that. I stand there. No, I'm good. I stand by that.
Standing by Minnesota? Okay. All right, so let's recap your wild card picks real quick. You're taking Houston over the Chargers. You're taking Baltimore over Pittsburgh. You're taking Buffalo over Denver. Philly over Green Bay. You're taking Tampa Bay over Washington. Do we have that right?
Oh, no, I'm taking the Commanders. Sorry.
I'm taking the Commanders. Okay. My mistake. And then you're taking Minnesota over the Rams.
All right. And we got the points up there for Minnesota on the board. Let me see your face, Steve. I want to look you in the eyes. I want to look you in the eyes. Do you have faith in me this weekend?
You got an extra game, and we've always been about the week of redemption, and historically this season, when you've had not great weeks, you have tended to bounce back. So I think there's some winners in here, especially with it's tough with an 8.5 and a 9.5 point spread. That's tough, but I think Buffalo could easily win by 10 points. Same as Baltimore. Pittsburgh has not looked great lately on offense. So
that's yeah. Look, I got nothing against Russell Wilson. I got no dog in that fight. But yeah, it's been looking a little weak. So I hate to go against my buddy Josh, but you know what? I bet Makuga would tell me, yeah, you're not wrong. Not their year. All right. 6 picks. We'll see what's going on. But before we get on out of here tonight on this little Blathering NFL picks clip, we're talking Super Bowl. We got some stuff in the works for the Super Bowl. Yeah, you're cooking up something here.
Yeah, we're gonna have some special pick ideas there. There's that week in between the Super Bowl. We'll have some cool stuff before the Super Bowl week as far as pick ideas, since there's only gonna be the limited number of games in the last game in the Super Bowl. But we first want to know who your Super Bowl matchup is going to be, and then who wins the Super Bowl here as your prediction before Wild Card Weekend starts.
You want me to put it on the line now, huh? You want me to?
Or this week. I mean, there's two 1 seeds out there, so that's two teams who can't get eliminated right off the bat. If you had to make the pick here before the playoffs started, who's in the Super Bowl and who wins?
I think the defense has scared me. And not in a good way, not in a fearsome, foursome, steel curtain way, but the Detroit Lions defense has scared me recently. I wish, now looking back, I wish the Dolphins would have cut Calais Campbell like 2 weeks out. He could have gone to Detroit, had a good run. I'm saying Detroit from the NFC. I do not think it's Kansas City's year. The record was spectacular other than the practice squad game at the end there. But I do think if Buffalo moves on, it has that energy of their year. And then can you imagine we get a Super Bowl, NFL, a big championship game with halftime entertainment. Imagine we get that between Detroit and Buffalo, 2 working class cities who have been without this title forever. No wide right in our, well, you could, maybe, I don't know, maybe the ghost of wide right would live. Maybe, the Lions can go back to their 1950s glory. What a story, Detroit, Buffalo. Someone's going to win. That would be the subtitle.
Somebody has to win their first Super Bowl. Cleveland is going to feel so left out if that's the Super Bowl. That would be my first reaction.
Cleveland. At least we're not Detroit.
But somebody has to win. No, I think that's a great pick. Being a Philly fan, I'm going to be biased and hope that my Eagles are in the Super Bowl. But I think Buffalo, I agree with you there that them being the strongest team in the AFC, and I'm absolutely terrified of Josh Allen. So
yep, he's something
good.
He's something special. Like I said, maybe 1 or 2 mistakes a game will happen, but if he's zeroed in, focused in here, Kansas City, for being a team at 15-2 at the end, they've had signs of weakness that people have talked about. Well, whether the pundits are right or not, it doesn't matter once you get a football field in. I trust in Andy Reid and Mahomes, but Buffalo, Detroit, putting it down here right now. But we'll see week to week if I stick with that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We'll come back to it, but Buffalo, Detroit is your matchup, and here before everything starts, who's your winner?
I'm gonna go Detroit. I think it's their year. I think I've made so much fun of the Detroit style pizza here on the Blathering that I think the football gods have said enough. And as a Miami Dolphin fan, it would rub it in a little bit more that Dan Campbell was our replacement for Todd Bowles, right? And then was it Bowles or Philbin? Regardless, Campbell's our interim head coach, and he's not our head. And I like McDaniel. Don't get me started on that right now. But Dan could have been ours.
Yeah, seat's getting a little hot for McDaniel, I think, but we'll see.
A hot seat. Hot seat.
But all right, so Detroit and Buffalo is your Super Bowl matchup prediction. You've got Detroit winning their first big game ever. That's very exciting for Detroit. Crazier things have certainly happened as of late in this world. So I think it's about time Detroit wins a Super Bowl. That would be pretty par for the course at this point. So
there you go. The picks are in. Steve, thanks for stopping by, my friend. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ken. Appreciate you having me.
All right. Stay tuned for more Blathering right here on this here YouTube channel. See you next time, friends.